Hey folks, welcome back to North Knives. This is a bit of a late one for me. It is 2:14 in the morning. I've just finished this knife. Which is part of my East Meets West series. It's Goyoto, or however you pronounce that, but basically it's a Japanese chef knife. My East Meets West series range, if you've not seen before, is basically the concept of Japanese or Eastern inspired knives with Western materials and obviously a bit of a Western feel because of my influences. So it's largely bog oak. Let's see that well there. But it's got brass and a maple burl, and then the steel is stainless steel SF100. It's come out beautifully. Clips like a dream. Just a really nice knife. Basically why I wanted to make this video late was because I'd like to know if any of you have any opinions on these like Eastern style knives, like Japanese knives, or more traditional Western, well, more traditional for us, Western style knife. So this is a knife I made a little while ago, and it's the maple burl. I used an offcut of that to do the sort of inlay there. This is another beautiful knife. Actually not cutting as well as it should, but I just pulled this out of storage and I'll give it a little strop. Quick strop, and she's cutting like a dream again. Now, I'm not actually very sure why that happened, because definitely was cutting perfectly when I finished it. It's only been in storage for a couple of months, I think. Anyway, good to go. Yeah, so let's talk about the differences first. The main big difference is that this is a hidden tang construction on the Eastern style knife, which basically means the tang, the metal part of the handle, is enshrouded by wood basically. So the tang is a lot smaller than a full tang knife, and yeah, and a full tang knife goes all the way through. You can see the metal all the way through the handle, and I think fairly obviously a full tang construction knife handle is a lot stronger, but from my experience you probably don't need that strength in the kitchen. Like maybe you would with some kind of bushcraft knife, but the full tang construction is probably a bit overkill for kitchen use. With this full tang construction, the blade is and the handle they are serviceable, sharpening etc and stuff, but they're less serviceable than this. So the way that I fit the handle in is with a glue, but it's a hot glue, so we can easily heat the blade and take the handle off, either replace the handle or even just for maintenance. If you wanted to, say you'd sharpened the blade so much that you know, after years and years and years you'd lost some of the depth of the knife, obviously the knife will be a lot thicker there, and you might want to thin out the blade again, and that's going to be a lot easier with this. If you had any problems with the handle or the blade itself, it's going to be a lot easier to deal with. I'd say one of the other main differences is weight, but actually I did this knife really thin, and there's not a major weight difference. I have to weigh them. This Eastern style one I've done. It's got a distal taper, but it's not a massive one, and this one does too. But again, it's not huge. Another main difference, this one's 240mm or just over 9 inches, and this one's the more traditional for Western style 8 inches, which is about 205mm. So yeah, I'd be really interested if any of you had any thoughts which one you would prefer. Basically, I've got an order that I'm going to deliver tomorrow, and they wanted a chef knife. It's for a gift, and when they described what they wanted, I immediately thought an 8-inch Western style chef knife, and I was thinking, well, a nice like burl, and I was thinking what I had, and I was like, well, maybe some of that maple burl, quite classy looking, and blah blah blah. And then I just realised I'd already made that exact knife that I was imagining, so that's that one. But I thought I'd do something else to offer them, so that's why I've been up late making this. So I'm going to find out tomorrow which one they choose. Yeah, it'd be nice to know which one you might choose. Just gonna interject here slightly, because I'm editing the video and I realise I missed out a couple of things, one of which I think is actually a really important detail between the East and Western style knives, and that is the edge profile, I guess you'd call it. And this is the first ever chef knife that I made. As you can see, there's a bit of a belly. There's the rock chop basically is the common way to cut in the West, and in the East they often utilise the push cut more, or other types. Less of a rock chop anyway. So this has got quite a belly here, and the tip is up to create this rocking motion. So yeah, basically that's it. This is my prototype Nakiri, which the Japanese ones, they can have a deadly flat blade. I did put an ever so slight curve on this because, well, one, because I knew I was going to keep it, and for me that's slightly more comfortable, and rolled the front tip a bit, so you can get up and do a bit of a rock if you want to, but basically that's a pretty straight edge. So for push cuts, I haven't got the exact knives here, but the Gyoto one, because of its length, it was a bit longer. It wasn't deadly flat at all, but there's a flat area quite a large flat area, flattish, so you can get up and do the rock chop, and you can do your push chops with it, so it's quite versatile. And the other thing I forgot to mention was just basically a detail about the Eastern style knife, is that I did the handle in this sort of shield shape, same as this. Well, not the same, but very similar. Where it's basically you start with an octagonal handle, and then you round this part, and it's super comfortable, beautiful to hold. For me, construction wise, at the moment, I've just made more of the full tang knife, so I'm a little bit more autopilot with doing it, and I still enjoy it. These are a bit more of a challenge, but I really enjoy it. I'd really do enjoy. The main difference is that you shape apart from the construction, you shape the handle away from the blade, whereas this style, the handle's like glued on, and I start shaping the handle and it's still attached to the blade. So basically the order of which you do loads of processes changes, and at the moment I still have to stop myself and think with this style, make sure I'm doing it all right. Oh, I didn't show you this part. I don't know if you can see in there. I found loads of makers, they never show this part. Okay, zoom back. Maybe I'll try and get close up. But yeah, thought it did pretty good job there. Looks pretty good. The construction of this is like basically a hole drilled through all of it except that last part where the knife actually goes into. Excuse me. And then I have a wooden dowel like this, which I cut a slot into. So the tang of the knife is sat in the slot, and like inside this knife is a wooden dowel. Oops. Probably something like that. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching. Appreciate any comments or thoughts. I'm gonna go to bed. So yeah, take care. Bye bye.